The ultimate summer skincare routine. What's up everyone, we're back. I'm Dr. Shah.
Dr. Maxfield.
Welcome back to our channel, Dr. Lee, where we talk about all things skincare and dermatology, and it is one of my favorite seasons of the year. We'll be talking about how to transition your skincare routine to the summer, what you need to be doing to protect your skin. We're gonna be throwing in some things we've never even really talked about before in terms of protecting your skin and amplifying the benefits of the summer, as I'll call them.
This is true. In the summer, it can be one of the hardest seasons on your skin. And I know it because we see this in the clinic all the time with our patients. People are coming in, they're burned, they're tan, and believe it or not, this is hard on your skin. As much as I want you to be outside, as much as I want you to be active as a dermatologist, you really do need to take extra precautions and take extra good care of your skin this time of year.
And there are products that I love during the summer that I hate in the winter and vice versa. So this is where we integrate products that maybe even are in the same family but have a different texture, for example. So we'll be talking about how to transition to your summer skincare routine and everything that goes with that. All things summer skincare, here we go.
Here we go.
So let's talk about what happens during the summer, right? What are the changes that are actually occurring that would make you want to change your skincare routine? So one, the sun. The sun is out, it's bright, the UV index is higher, you're more likely to get burned. So that even means you should change your skincare routine. You should definitely be more diligent about sunscreen. It also means that you should be careful about certain procedures that you're going to do in the office as well. So the sun is there. It's often more humid depending on where you live. So that means increased moisture content, meaning that you probably don't want something as heavy. Your skin is generally going to be a little bit more hydrated naturally. What else happens during the summer?
I think mostly it's just lifestyle. Everyone is a little bit more out and about, active. And so even if your environment is relatively similar, which it's not, you're engaging in it a lot more. So you might need to adjust things again to compensate for that, help treat your skin, protect your skin, and even simply don't screw up your skin this summer. So going into the fall, you have less to repair behind it.
Right, so when we're building these skincare routines, we always go cleanse, treat, moisturize, and then protect. We usually say protect, but we're gonna throw moisturize in here because in some ways it can be a separate step in the morning, and we'll talk about some of the moisturizers that we like during the summer. So starting off with cleansing, what types of changes would you wanna make to your cleanser, and what are our favorite options?
First, you don't have to change your cleanser. So if you like the cleanser you're using in the winter, your skin type doesn't change a whole lot, or your environment doesn't change, by all means, carry on. You can skip to the next section in this video. But for those of you where it does get hot or humid, or you get excess oil production, then you probably want to switch to a lightweight cleanser or one with a little bit more lather.
Right, a little bit more lather, a little bit more foam, and maybe even a little bit of salicylic acid to remove some of those excess oils. Now, you could switch, if you're somebody like me who's combo dry, you may want to switch to something a little bit more hydrating, but not something that's completely stripping. So there's a lot of good options out there. I like a foaming cleanser just in general. So a really good option is La Roche-Posay's Toleriane cleanser. This is the one that comes in a blue bottle. We actually now, this is an interesting factor, I don't know if anyone's been following this journey, but La Roche-Posay is now officially on Air, which Air is a skin store that's distributed through dermatology offices, so your doctor can send you discounted products through their office. So we'll put a link below, but you can actually get this cleanser now discounted, shipped directly to your door, and you can't get these discounts anywhere else, which I think is actually pretty cool. So we'll put a link below. The only pain with this thing is that you have to create an account before you can check out. I'd actually like your feedback on this because it's something I've been working on with another colleague for a long time. So let me know how you like it, how to check out. Even if you don't buy anything, just check it out, poke around, see if you actually like the interface and it's something that you would actually use. And if you're interested in the product, you can check it out there.
Right, and so this is also for this is mainly for the providers out there. You can get yourself on this platform to help your patients get more affordable things that you are already recommending in the office. I use this actually in my office. I've used it for years at this point. I find it very helpful. And now back to the product. So La Roche-Posay, he mentioned the blue one. I'll mention the gentle foaming cleanser. It's similar, but it's less lather. Does leave you a little bit more, not hydrated because it doesn't like make you feel moisturized, but it's just not as, none of them are stripping. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a perfectly balanced cleanser, and I'll just leave it at that. Perfectly balanced, all types throughout the year, and I love this one even for the summer.
Yeah, this is actually a good one. I use this on body and face. I actually use both of these on body and face, and they're both really good options. We also came out with a gel to foam cleanser from Remedy, which has some salicylic acid in it, which is really good for oily, acne-prone skin, but even better for people who have oily skin during the summer because it's mild enough that it's going to remove some of those oils that are excess without being overly stripping. So really a nice product for somebody who especially gets oilier skin in the summer.
Yeah, and I've been using, we're shooting at Dr. Shaw's today, and so I've been using it last couple of nights here. Ceramides, niacinamide, 0.5% salicylic acid, glycerin, green tea, which I absolutely love, one of my favorite all-time ingredients. Very, very nice. I mean, it's just great. I don't know, it's tough to describe a cleanser sometimes because there's only one way to describe a cleanser. It's like it doesn't strip and or plus or minus hydration, but it's like a very good body, a nice lather, doesn't leave you feeling stripped. Skin feels great afterwards.
And also relatively affordable price point for some of these products that you can find online. So next up, you got your cleanser. The next step that you want to go to is your treatment. So let's start in the morning here because I actually think the morning routine during the summertime may even be more important than the night routine. So what are we putting as our treatment step in the morning?
So classically, it's going to be vitamin C. The reason being, vitamin C first and foremost. I kind of like this better, first. So first, it's a potent antioxidant, often paired with vitamin E, which means that by decreasing oxidative damage, which is an endpoint from both UV damage and other environmental factors, it can protect your skin throughout the day. Also, it does a lot of other things, protects against dark spot, helps with collagen, helps a lot of aging benefits as well. So vitamin C is going to be your probable first choice. Now, I particularly love ethyl ascorbic acid. We've talked about this for years. I wonder sometimes if we were the first to kind of back this ingredient. I actually don't know, but I know we were real early on this ingredient and I really love it more and more over time. So the Minimalist is a product we talked about in a recent video. Great price point, ethyl ascorbic acid, gentle as can be on the skin. So if you haven't used vitamin C before, it's a good one. If you have used vitamin C before and couldn't tolerate it, you still might like this one. A good one to check out.
So antioxidants are just so important here. What do antioxidants do? They're free radical scavengers. There's a lot of oxidative damage that occurs through the sun, through the environment, when you're traveling during the summer, just because you're on vacations. And so this really helps to offset those free radicals that are occurring. So vitamin C is your prototypical antioxidant. Now you can go with the prototypical vitamin C product. This would be something like SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic, which is a $180 product, which is now officially out of patent. So their patent finally expired, which in the past you weren't able to actually do. There were a lot of quote unquote dupes, meaning that they were very close in formula as SkinCeuticals, but not the same because they couldn't be the same because SkinCeuticals had a patent. Now there was one brand that did dupe them and got close enough that they got sued, and that was Drunk Elephant. So the Drunk Elephant formula is actually very similar to the SkinCeuticals formula. That being said, I expect to roll out identicals of SkinCeuticals over the next few years. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be very fascinating to see how low these prices go, given that it's not an expensive product to formulate. And the reason it was so expensive was because of the intellectual property. So you can always go with those. So SkinCeuticals has a great vitamin C for this. Timeless has a great vitamin C that's available at Target for this. Paula's Choice has got a great vitamin C in this category. And then you can think about other supercharged antioxidant serums. So you got your vitamin C. You also have ingredients like superoxide dismutase, you have ectoin, you have glutathione, you have all these other ingredients that are great antioxidant ingredients to pair with vitamin C. And so I really like to see now formulas that are a little bit more advanced in this way.
The Paula's Choice has an interesting one. It's a good one. It's like their antioxidant serum or something like that. It's interesting. It has a lot of those supporting antioxidants in there. I think it has glutathione, it has superoxide dismutase, it has ferulic acid. Interestingly, the forms of vitamin C in it are very low for me. It has THDC, tetrahexadecylascorbate, whatever, vitamin C, and then magnesium squirrel phosphate, which is absolute trash when it comes to vitamin C's. But if those vitamin C's do nothing, I actually think the rest of the supporting antioxidants in that formulation are good enough to compensate. So I actually like this product as another alternative for your antioxidants.
Right, and then there's a lot of other really interesting formulas out there. So you have the peptides and antioxidant advanced firming daily treatment from Allies of Skin. Now this thing is loaded with different types of ingredients here. It's hydrating. It has what they call 9 different antioxidants, 7 different peptides. Hard to know how they qualify these necessarily, but there are some really interesting combinations of ingredients in this formula, like allantoin, like bisobolol, like glutathione, like ergothioneine. They also have this, it's like an algae extract that I really like, and algae are very powerful antioxidants because of the environment that they live in, and so they also can have profound benefits on the skin. And then they have a slew of different peptides in this one. So this one is really super formulated, but what I really also like, and I might even like better than this formula from Allies of Skin, is their copper peptide serum. And copper peptides have really profound benefits on the skin, but that is a beautiful formula. I spent the last hour looking for it in my house. I couldn't find it, but it's just an absolutely beautiful packaging and absolutely beautiful formula.
Right. Now the price point on those, if you had a problem with SkinCeuticals, you will have a problem with this. They're nearing $200 per product. However, they are top tier in terms of innovation, formulation, and aesthetics. Similarly though, Bioscience's copper peptides do have ectoin paired with copper peptides if you're looking for that specific duo. But yeah, some amazing antioxidants that you can use as alternatives to vitamin C.
So again, in the morning, this is where you really want your super vitamin C serums, as many ingredients that can protect you against environmental damages as possible. And then next we move on to moisturizing and protecting.
Right, so we've always classically paired these because you're either protecting your skin barrier from dryness in the environment, or you're protecting your skin and DNA from the sun. But the first protective step being moisturizing, you're going to intuitively want something less greasy, less heavy, less occlusive, and just you're gonna want your skin to feel like it can breathe. So you're going to be looking for your lotions or gel lotions or true gel moisturizers this time of year.
Right, so what do those look like? There are plenty out there. We've always liked the Biossance Gel Moisturizer. The formula has changed from its original formulation, and with time, I don't know if I like it as much or if it's the same or not. It's definitely a different formula, right? You can tell the difference. Both are good. I don't know if I like it as much. I kind of go back and forth on that. This is also a good time of the year for something like a Neutrogena Hydro Boost, which is just a really nice, super lightweight gel formula. Some of you have seen me in a Neutrogena Hydro Boost commercial, but I personally prefer the fragrance-free versions of Hydro Boost, so definitely check those out. I think that's a really good option. But this is where you're going with those like really nice, lightweight gel formulas. Even using something like CeraVe PM, which is, you would assume would be a PM moisturizer, but there's no reason you can't use that during the morning. It's got niacinamide, it's a lightweight gel moisturizer that could be used morning or night. And they even have a lightweight gel moisturizer too that they've recently released.
That's actually a really good one too. I will go even a step further though. You may, and we get these comments actually quite a bit from those of you who live in the tropics or subtropical regions. What if I forgo a moisturizer altogether? God bless, go ahead. This is not a true necessary step in your skincare routine. Very few things are. Or you can even just take a step back and just use a hydrating serum as your moisturizing step if that works for your skin type or your environment. We've always loved the Vichy Mineral 89. And these hydrating serums, we were talking about this before we shot, these are like at an all-time low in terms of popularity probably, but really doesn't change the fact that they can really help the skin barrier. They do hydrate. It's always a more complex formula than just hyaluronic acid, so that nuance, it's combined with glycerin, thermal spring water, whatever. You don't have to use it, but I love the Vichy Mineral 89 serum. There are a lot of different HA derivations you can use that can be good for your skin.
Yeah, absolutely agree. You could even skip the moisturizer and just go on to a more hydrating sunscreen.
Yep. Now, so sunscreens, whatever one you'll wear is the one that is right for you. We always say this, as long as the SPF value is greater than 30, but this is of course the most important, paramount cornerstone for your skincare routine all year long. And in the summer, it is everything. So find one you love. You're going to want something probably more lightweight. I found a good one. We've done a video, I don't know what the order we're gonna release these are in, so we kind of have some deep dives on sunscreens this year, but I found this one from Ionic. But this one is just a simple sunscreen. It's Centella Asiatica extract, 49%, a derivation of green tea basically. I told you earlier, I'm obsessed with this ingredient. And it's super lightweight Korean sunscreen, blends beautifully, and I love the green tea antioxidant counterpart to the SPF.
I mentioned in our favorite sunscreens of the year that are new, the Haru Haru Wonder. If you're looking for a Korean sunscreen that's lightweight, that's dewy, that's gonna be great for the summer, this is a really good option. We're also huge fans of the Mineral Vanna Cream Moisturizer, which is SPF 30, we still feel underrated. Now, if it's mineral, there's always going to be a slight white tint to it, but it's probably as good as you can get, and it's a formula that I really, really like. I took it on vacation. I used it on most days. I did find when I went in the pool, it became very drippy very quickly, so it has very little water resistance. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more water resistant, I would go with UV Hydra from La Roche-Posay.
I've recently rediscovered something I didn't forget about with the Biossance reformulation of their Squalane sunscreen. Really good. Struggles in facial hair, but boy, on the skin, love the way it feels. Super hydrating. So that's worth another mention.
If you're looking for something that's a little bit more water resistant during the summer, then La Roche-Posay has a new sunscreen called UV Sport that is water resistant. It's also great for playing sports, as you might imagine, but also great for people who are active during the summer. Now, a little special note here. For those of you who have melasma, dark spots, hyperpigmentation, for any of you who bought Remedy for dark spots in the last year, if you really want to see results with your dark spot treatment, please, please, please wear your sunscreen during the summer. Please look for a tinted sunscreen. In this case, this is where you're going to see really the best results with your skin, and it really will help amplify the results of any dark spot, hyperpigmentation, laser treatment that you do in the office or you purchase online.
Yeah, you cannot overstate that fact. You will undo and worsen everything in a week that you spent months trying to treat in the winter. So very important step. And then even additional sun protection. So this powder is an example of another way to bring antioxidants into your life. I'll just say it that way. So this is called sun powder. The cornerstone ingredient here is polypodium leucotomus. We've been talking about this ingredient actually for years. We've mentioned a few different brands in that it is one of the most evidence-based antioxidants that complements your sunscreen. Does not replace. I don't think I've actually ever heard anyone say that it does replace your sunscreen, but complements your sunscreen for better sun protection. I've made multiple empties of this. I actually kind of just use this as my post-workout personally now. Just in the morning, it gets the day started off right. But I will actually go further, I'll go further after he speaks his piece about the supplement, because I have like a little beef with this brand myself.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of polypodium. You've heard me talk about this before. I'm not a big supplement person in general. I think that there's a lot of chaos that happens in the supplement industry and a lot of brands that overpromise and underdeliver, but I am a huge fan of polypodium. I think it definitely gives you an added benefit of sun protection, especially people very sensitive to the sun. For example, people with melasma, again, will benefit from extra protection. And so I think where we get in trouble with polypodium is where people think, hey, I'm gonna take this supplement instead of wearing sunscreen. So I would actually look at it more like a vitamin C in the sense that it's giving you additional antioxidant benefit, for example, but it's definitely not a replacement for sunscreen. Now this one, this sun powder from Soul Sciences is formulated by dermatologist. It's formulated actually by a skin cancer surgeon who sees a lot of skin cancer, recognizes that a lot of patients are not great about sun protection, and thought he could create something that would be a little bit easier for people to use. Now this comes in a powder format, so you can mix it into any drink, beverage, hydration, when you're going to the gym, when you're going to the beach. So it does make it easy to use for people who would rather drink than take a pill. There are also pill options of polypodium. You can get HelioCare, which was the first brand to come out with this. And then there's another brand from another dermatologist called Inner Glow Age Defense Vitamins. Now these are, actually this brand does quite a bit of philanthropy, which I like, and they have similarly the polypodium in the leaf format, which is phenomenal, plus green tea, plus so many other things, turmeric, which I'm a huge fan of turmeric, resveratrol, which, you know, some of the data is mixed on that, but a lot of people take resveratrol as it is. So it has a lot of other powerful antioxidants. And actually the dermatologist that created it has great skin as well. So I am a big fan of polypodium. Pick which format you like. This is a really good, interesting combination of ingredients, and Dr. Maxfield will explain more.
Right. So here's my beef with sun powder. I think it's almost a misnomer. I actually think they're selling themselves short, to the point where I don't know, I almost like wish they would change their name. I know there's no way this is ever gonna happen, but I think it can be more holistic than that. So they are using what, stem, root, and leaf extract. Their story is this is like a dynamic product, and so they're always looking to improve and expand upon it. So I'll bet even in a year or 2 years from now, this formulation might be even more comprehensive and stacked. And yes, there are studies backing each of those types of polypodium. But then there is also, what do we have? Nicotinamide, which is another ingredient dermatologists are familiar with. There are studies showing that this can be helpful in decreasing the risk of certain types of precancers. And we don't use this for everyone in the clinic, but that data does exist and it may be helpful for some people. Similarly, there's a prescription version of vitamin A that we also use in the clinic. Again, we don't use it for everybody, but there are these various nutrients that can be helpful for protecting your skin. This one uses nicotinamide. There's also collagen in this. So if you're a person who is like a firm believer, and I know there's a lot of you out there, that collagen has revolutionized your hair and skin, this can also be for you. And then there's also astaxanthin. And there's hyaluronic acid, and there's biotin if you're a believer in that, and there's vitamin C. So like, the formulation is a lot more holistic and encompassing than I think the name implies. So instead of sun powder, you know what? It should be called just skin powder. You know what? Boom. I just changed your name for you.
Shout out Skin Powder. If you're listening, definitely consider the no. I do think this is interesting formulation, right? And this is where some of the nuances come in, right? Nicotinamide, really beneficial in people who are high risk for skin cancer, meaning they've had skin cancer before, for example. And so not generalizable to everybody, but there are some benefits to this formulation in its totality outside of the polypodium that we're working here. So ultimately, and my also understanding is that this brand has gone through some reformulations to get better. So I know that they're listening to feedback from other experts to try to improve the formula so that it's best for you. So I do, and I've seen this. This is my third bottle of this that we're getting, and so each time the formula has improved from what I can tell so far. So I think ultimately it will become a very, very solid, even more solid formula as time develops.
Now moving on from supplements, you are going throughout your day. Maybe you're wearing sun protective clothing, maybe you're surfing, maybe you're running, maybe you're just going to work. Now you're coming home and now you're just going to, I don't know, make dinner, you're gonna relax, now you're gonna have some time with the family, and now you're gonna go into your evening skincare routine. Basically, you just lived your life and now you're going to your PM skincare routine. I don't know why I felt like the need to detail out your day, but I just lived it with you, okay? So next, with the evening, we're gonna start with cleanse, and there may be a little bit of nuance here too.
All right, so when it comes to cleansing, sort of same thing, right? Maybe you're wearing makeup always year round, and so you're already familiar with this. But maybe you're somebody who only wears, you're not a Dr. Lee fan, and you're somebody who only wears sunscreen during the summer. And as a result, you need to remove this water-resistant sunscreen, which doesn't dissolve well with your regular cleanser. So this is where you want to introduce your double cleansing. I think summer's a great time for double cleansing, and an example of this would be a balm, maybe a micellar water, maybe an oil cleanser. So it really depends on your preference. I personally prefer balms, and actually it's because I find them to be a little bit more hydrating. Now you may be somebody who runs a little bit oilier. You may actually prefer an oil cleanser. Now you're thinking oil cleanser, oily skin. Why would I prefer an oily cleanser if I have oily skin? And I actually think, and I think Dr. Maxwell, you might agree with me on this, oil cleansers dry out my skin more than any other cleanser. And I don't know if that's because like dissolves like and it washes it away with the surfactants, but I find all oil cleansers to be more drying than any other form of cleanser, which could be good for you in the summer.
Exactly, and I think a point that he referenced, maybe you're a person who wears sunscreen in the summer, don't lie to yourself, don't lie to us. I see y'all in the clinic. That's the vast majority of people. You are the type of person who just wears sunscreen when you go to the beach, outside. I get it, I hear you. You are seeing the majority of the population. So don't fret. Double cleanse, use one of these cleansers first, and then you follow it up with a normal cleanser. It's so easy to remove your sunscreen, and then you move on with the rest of your routine. As far as products, we both agree you still can't top that green little pharmacy cleansing balm at the moment. I actually just bulk ordered it for myself. I mean, we tried tons of cleansing balms. We use cleansing balms maybe more than almost any other product. It's still one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, it's just, it works, period, right? So you can try lots of cleansers out there. They have a fragrance-free one and they have a fragranced one. You can go with either, quite honestly, because you're gonna wash your face again right afterwards. But yeah, pharmacy seems to continuously deliver to me despite how many different ones I try. You know, Tier has a good one that I really enjoyed lately. The bottle's a bit small in my opinion. Clinique makes a really good one, but still, it's hard to hold the flame to the pharmacy one, which just works so well. Then next you wanna follow with your regular cleanser, which can be the same cleanser used during the day. I don't think you need to buy a separate cleanser for this. Maybe you want a little bit more hydration at night, that's fine too. But then you wanna move on to your treatments at night, and the only thing I'd be cautious about in the summer that maybe you're not as cautious about in the winter is over exfoliating, just because the increased risk of sun exposure and sunburns when you over exfoliate.
Right, and those most are gonna be your alpha hydroxy acids, so glycolic acid being the flagship, ingredient from that category. It does make you more sensitive to the sun. So you can sub that out with something like a salicylic acid, which does not carry the risk, not as strong as an exfoliator, and not as strong of a profile for an aging perspective, but it does not carry the risk of sun damage exacerbation. Sorry, it's late, it's a nighttime video. This is me at night, I struggle. So the other question though, when it comes to sun sensitivity, and this is like a paramount question, is can you continue your retinoid? Should you continue your tretinoin, your retinol? Do you need to stop in the summer? And the answer to that is resoundingly no, please continue.
Right, retinoids, you can continue. If you find yourself to be more sensitive to the sun, you could decrease the frequency, but retinoids work year round. You don't want to take a break during the summer. And this is also a really good time for an ingredient that plays well with pretty much any other skincare product and any time of the year, which is peptides, right? Peptides are pretty universal to use year round. You want to use ones that are really going to help support your collagen and elastin. An ingredient like matrixyl in this situation can be great. An ingredient like argireline can be great. So anything that's got quite a bit of peptides can be great during this time of the year.
Yeah.
And there's no reason you can't use your vitamin C at night. When we've talked about this before, can be taboo to say, but you can use vitamin C morning or night. And so if you want an extra antioxidant punch, it could be a good time to use vitamin C twice a day. That would be fine as long as your skin can tolerate it.
Yeah. I still remember the first time I said that on my own dedicated channels, the amount of vitriol in response to that comment, it was like I don't even know. It was unreal. It's like I just delved into politics with your PM vitamin C potential. But yeah, definitely can be if your skin can tolerate it, by all means.
And then finally at night, moisturize or protect, however you want to call it now. Maybe we're switching things up a little bit. This is where you want to use any moisturizer that you find suitable for your skin. Now that could be that same lightweight gel moisturizer that we talked about earlier. It could be a heavier barrier cream. If you have some issues you're trying to heal, maybe you have a sunburn, you need some aloe vera in your moisturizer, but I like to use just a gel moisturizer at this time of the year.
Okay, so this is what your evening routine looks like. We'll just throw in a product for each step to build it with you. You're gonna use your pharmacy cleansing balm to remove the oily substance on your face. Then you're going to use the new remedy for cleansing for
foam. The gel to foam cleanser for normal to oily skin with salicylic acid.
Oof, it's a horrible name. Taken after La Roche-Posay with that one. And then you're going to continue on, maybe let's say a peptide serum. You can use like dermatology peptides, Malove Peptide Squad. Either way, those are great. And then
Peter Thomas Roth has a good peptide serum, skin injection serum.
This is true too. Perfect peptides are in. Then you're going to add in your remedy for healthy aging, because I know all of you are using that.
Or you could skip your peptide serum because it has the peptides. No, I'm just kidding. That's a lot of remedy in one routine, which is basically my routine, but that's okay.
I know it's most of your routine. Trust me, I know y'all are. I see the comments. And then you can follow it up, especially if you're dealing with irritation, with the moisturizer. And I'm gonna throw in another remedy product because I'm like delirious at this point. It's almost 9 p.m. I'm harping on this fact, but like remedy for moisturizing barrier repair lightweight gel moisturizer. Wait a minute, did you know this exists? Well, now you do. It's a lightweight moisturizer, which actually pairs great for the summer.
It's a great summer one. This is a great morning moisturizer if you don't like a heavy moisturizer just in general, but very simple, straightforward. Ceramides, panthenol, glycerin, squalane, but the way that it comes together into a very lightweight gel is really what you're gonna love the experience for, especially if you have oilier skin, especially if you don't want something as hydrating, or not as hydrating, but something that's as greasy, let's say, at night.
Yep, fair enough. Again, so your moisturizer to close out the night if you are someone who needs a moisturizer. And congratulations, you are done with your day. You get to rinse and repeat, do it tomorrow. Hopefully you have some adventures built into that schedule, but you're going to be doing it with healthy, protected skin. And then lastly, are your words of caution. So this is basically what's kind of outside of your daily routine, but built into your skincare structure. And we're gonna talk about procedures because there's some nuance into what you could be doing, should be doing, and should be cautious with in the summer months.
Right, so we're your internet dermatologists, right? So we're doing our little consult here for you. So if you wanna get some, which is sort of interesting because people have a lot of downtime, they're going to a lot of weddings, so they think this is the time of the year to get my procedures done. And this is where you really need to be cautious with procedures, is during the summer. So you can certainly continue to get your things like Botox, fillers, microneedling, for example, but lasers that target pigment, this is where you can get in a lot of trouble. And light, specifically things like IPL and BBL, is where I see the most burns around this time of the year. So people get a little bit of a light base tan, they're spending a little bit more time out in the sun, they go to see their dermatologist or they go to the med spa down the street, they get a BBL or an IPL procedure, and they burn their skin inevitably because the IPL does not react well with tan skin. And so you just have to be very cautious about what procedures you want to get. This is not laser season. The laser season is usually during the fall and the winter and maybe the early spring. But around this time of the year, you really want to be cautious with laser procedures in the office.
Right, and as far as prescriptions, for those of you who are already seeing dermatologists, ingredients like doxycycline, Accutane, these are things that also make you more sun sensitive that a lot of people are on, so just be cautious with that. It's not that you should stop all of these altogether. You certainly should continue them if you need them, but just protect your skin and take extra steps to protect your skin if you are using any of those things.
Absolutely. Now, again, just to reiterate before we close out, if you're somebody who is sun sensitive, you have condition like PMLE, polymorphous light eruption, or you have melasma, or you have lupus, for example, diligent sun protection is super important. In some cases, sun avoidance entirely. And so hopefully you find these tips helpful. Let us know if there's anything else you'd like to see from us this year. We're also going to be doing a video on our favorite summer hacks, so stay tuned for that. So we have some really cool stuff coming up there.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Enjoy your summer. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.